So guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be doing a quick flight from Manchester today to Edinburgh. It's only probably an hour flight-ish. I might shorten it down a little bit as well for the actual video, but we'll see. We're also flying on Vatsim today, which for some people probably won't know what Vatsim is. Vatsim is an online community for air traffic control services, and they're very good at what they do, and it's very professional. A lot of people get put off by that, the fact that it's very procedural. However, they understand that people don't know exactly what to do, and I must admit, even I sometimes don't know what to do, especially if I mishear something. It makes it quite difficult. So I've already contacted them briefly just to get a radio check to make sure all the comms work, but you'll hear the rest in a minute. What we're going to quickly do, listen to the ATIS information, which is the Airport Terminal Information Service, which basically tells you everything about the airport, what runways in use, the weather conditions and things like that. So we'll have a quick listen to that.
Information Lima, time 1850, automatic, runway in use 23 right, transition level flight level 60, surface winds 220, 4 knots varying between 190 and 250 degrees, visibility 10 kilometers or more, few clouds at 3,100 feet, towering cumulus detected, temperature +15, dew point +13, QNH 1015, threshold, QFE 1006. Acknowledge a receipt of information Lima, and advise aircraft type on first contact.
So guys, so listening to that ATIS information, basically what all that means is we don't need to know much of it, to be honest. The bits that you do need to know is what information it is, especially if you're playing on Vatsim, what information it is. So that it's information Lima. Runway 23 right was in use. Transition level was 60, which is very useful for a minute. The QNH is also important because that adjusts. So the QNH is this thing here. Although it's in inches of mercury, so you can change that to hectopascals. So we're going to be 1015. What you'll notice when I go up with that, it will change the altitude very slightly. If you look on the left on the display, you'll see the altitude going up and down as I scroll. So you'll see here. So what we need to do, we need to turn that on. So 1015 it said. Temperature is 15 degrees, and we are EasyJet 975. Like I said, there's probably going to be some mistakes. I'm no expert at Vatsim, and I'm no expert at anything else really. I'll just try my best. I've not done Vatsim for a while, to be honest, until recently. But we're going to change the transition level to 6,000 because that's what it said. Threshold, we don't need to know any of that. Flex temp, so all that's set up now. So next we're going to look at our flight plan. So I use an online flight planner. Literally just Google flight planning, and it's like online flight simulator planner or something. It's the first one that pops up. And basically you put the airport code that you're going from and to, the altitude you're going at, and it basically creates a route for you. However, there is different routes, so with the current version that we're on at the minute, it does make it a bit more difficult. So according to what I've got on here, so we're going from EGCC, which is Manchester, to a place called Pole, which is Pole Hill, and that'll be our departure as well. So if we set the departure, and we're going to be doing a standard instrument departure, so we're going from runway 23 right, as we said, and also, so now we scroll down all these different departures, which means nothing. So we're going to go to Pole 5 Romeo because that's the correct departure for this runway, and it goes to the waypoint that we want it to go to. Okay, so that's in. You click insert, that all goes in there, and you'll see it goes to Pole. So now from Pole, I need to click on Airways, and I need to click. So the next point that we're going to is actually an airway called November 601, which is like a motorway in the sky. However, with the new flight simulator, they've not integrated airways in with the new Airbus. So when some of the add-on aircraft come out, they will have the airways in them. So what I have to do now is actually manually put in all the other all the other waypoints. So Nelsa is the next one. Oh, that's another thing I've noticed. When you click, it doesn't always register on this new game. Though I'm very impressed with the game overall. I know a lot of people have been saying that they're not big fans of it. I personally quite like it. I think from what we had, I think it's a massive upgrade, and I think over time it will get to where it needs to be. It's exactly where Flight Simulator X was when it came out. The good thing about this is they're doing updates all the time to it, and there should be an update for what I've read coming out in the next week or so. So hopefully that will get us going. I've already bought some of the scenery. Innsbruck I bought, and also the pack for London I bought, only mainly because I've already owned them prior to today. So SHAPP. If it inserts, there we go. So now we click insert on that because I have got more. However, you can only put so many.
Manchester Ground, good evening. Easy 0919 with you on Bravo.
Easy 0919, Manchester Ground, welcome to Manchester. Taxi stand 7 via Bravo and Juliet Echo.
Roger, taxi stand 7 via Bravo, Juliet and Echo, Easy 0919.
Correction, it's Juliet Echo is one taxiway.
Roger, stand 7 via Juliet Echo, Easy 0919.
Our next waypoint is INPIP, which stands for, I don't even know what it's called, it's just called INPIP actually. Doesn't stand for anything. So INPIP, and then the next thing we don't need to touch on that is EGPH. So that's already in, but we're going to be doing a standard instrument arrival. I'm presuming it's going to be runway 24 that's in use. It normally is, so we'll go with runway 24. And then we look for an INPIP, if you see here. So we've got an INPIP 1 Echo. That's what we're going to select because that is where we class them. And it'll be from Edinburgh. We will come from, I would imagine. So the star is that. So this is called a star, which stands for a standard terminal arrival. Something like that, anyway, from memory. And that is what every aircraft uses wherever they fly. So now when we look up here, you'll see my flight plan, and it's all integrated lovely into the navigation system. Okay, so next thing is so what we'll do, we'll turn the fuel pumps on, we'll get all the lights on. I have started some of this. I put the ground power on and the batteries are already on, so the fuel pumps are all now on. Next thing we need to really...
Manchester Ground, can you just confirm the runway for departure right now on Charlie?
Ryanair 1 Charlie, Manchester Ground, yes, it's 23 right.
So we get all the lights on.
Okay, thank you.
Let's get all the lights on, the beacon's on, nav's on, strobe is going to go on auto. And we'll leave all that for now. Okay. So next thing on the thing, so we've got all the flight plan in, we've got enough fuel on board, we've got 18.5 kilos, or 18.5 tons should I say, and that is basically it for the time being. So next thing is, so we've got all the ground services out and things. I've not set them all up, to be honest with you, just because I wanted to just show you a bit about Vatsim and see how we get on. So another thing that I've noticed with the new flight simulator is the gates aren't accurate with the real world. So I've got a map for, I've got a chart for Manchester and for Edinburgh, just so I know whereabouts we're flying to, and that's the main reason. So you can pay for the charts. I've managed to find a free one somewhere. I'm just googling, to be honest, and it shows me all the stand-ups and taxiways. So I've estimated, it's not going to be bang on, but stand 5.5 we're at today. So what air traffic control need to know when you get going is they need to usually start with whatever the services you're speaking to. your call sign, what information, what gate you're at, what aircraft type you are, and what information you have, which we heard was Lima, and that will tell them that we know that all the QNH is 1015, we know what runway we're using, we know everything we're doing. Before I do that though, I am going to file a flight plan, which I've already set up. I don't think you'll be able to see it on the screen because it records the game rather than the software behind it, but I'll go through that on a later date. If you do, wonderful. If you don't, we can go through that on a later date. So I'm going to submit that now, and hopefully that will be approved. That's what I'm hoping. So we've got 6,000 feet. Initial climb, we're going to set to 200. Speed to 200, and we'll see how we're doing. I'll just deselect that further. Actually, no, we will select manage mode because we will be using manage mode straight off the runway. So what we're going to do, we're going to speak to ground now and see what they say. Manchester ground, easy 975 A320, gate 54, information Lima.
Easy 975, Manchester ground, good evening.
Good evening, request Ifr clearance to Edinburgh, please, as filed.
Easy 975, Manchester ground, cleared to Edinburgh via Pole Hill 5, Romeo departure, runway 23 right, squawk 7537, QNH 1015.
To Edinburgh via Pole 5 Romeo 23 right, and I think it was 7537.
Easy 975, correct.
Lovely, easy 975. Good. 7537. So now what we do is we put in 7537 into the squawk, into the transponder, and we also put that onto auto. So that does its thing. I'm also going to put some lights on, get some illumination on everything, so we'll see what we're up to, because it's getting a bit dark now. So next thing, so we've now been given our clearance with our flight plan, which means the flight plan's valid and they're happy for us to use that. So next I've got to look at where we're going. So the facts that we know what runway we're using and where our gate position is, we can pretty much guarantee that we're going to be looking at the map that I've got, and I'll leave some links in the description. That we're probably going to be holding Mike 1 or maybe Juliet 1, but probably be taxiing from Golf to Juliet to Mike 1. That would be my guess. So which, if we look, is going to be just behind us, somewhere like that. So literally just behind us, round here, down here, and there, or all the way up to the end. It depends how the controller's feeling tonight, but we'll have to have a look at that as we come to it. So next thing, let's turn the APU on because we're going to get ready for pushback and start. I'll just put the taxi lights on already. We shouldn't do really. So we'll get all that set up, get that up, and we get the auto brake onto max. So next thing, next situation on this whole thing is going to be getting clearance for pushback and which way we're facing.
Yeah, Manchester ground, easy 0919 at the parking gate. Day 1 on FS2020, and to be honest, perfectly happy to have reached the ground without killing anyone.
Nice.
Brilliant.
So you can hear the APUs firing up now, you'll be able to hear it if we come around the back here. So you can hear the APUs fired up, which is the engine that's used to start the engines, and the APU bleed that's on. I've already turned the APU bleed on, so that's there, and to make sure they're all on together. We're going to put some engine and wing anti-ice on as well, because it might get a bit freezy up there, but we'll have a look. So next thing is to get clearance pushback. Manchester Ground, good evening, EZ975 ready for pushback.
EZ975, Manchester Ground, stand 5-5, push and start approved.
Lovely, push start approved, and I presume facing east, EZ975.
EZ975 is probably where you are, it's better to face west.
Okay, face west at EZ975. So he's asked me to face west, which means to our left as we're sat now. I'm not going to be brilliant at this, I must admit. So we'll get the engines on. That's what I'll explain what I'm doing. So we turn that knob to the right, engine 2 master on. So we always start on Airbuses in a sequence, engine 2 to engine 1, as far as I know. Stand to be corrected yet. So we're going to ground services on here. I'm going to have to tune the ground frequency, unfortunately, which is a bit of a pain. There's a bit of a flaw in it.
Manchester Ground EZ975
we have to request a pushback.
Requesting pushback. EZ975 1123 pushback request accepted.
So we're going to take the parking brake off, which I've got all set up. And we're going to say steer to the right, I think. Let me just double check. It always confuses me with this, it's always back to front to what you think. And I've still not got the hang of it yet. So we'll see. We'll see when it locks on. We'll see what happens. Yeah, there we go. That's what we wanted to do. So we're going to be pushing west, and we'll basically park up somewhere here where the arrow is. So we'll push straight for now. You have to be plenty of time, that's the thing, so for it actually to adjust. That's the only thing I dislike about this pushback system. It's not very good in the game that it's built in. I imagine GSX will come out with something better, which will be a lot better on the Zool. So we're pushing back now as we speak, and so we're going to say push the aircraft to the left, which should be to the right, nose right, at the tail.
Manchester Ground EZ975 1123 requesting pushback tug to steer the aircraft to the left.
We'll see. Oh no, I've done it the wrong way now. So what we'll do, we'll just set the parking brake, it'll slow it down to the right. So now,
Manchester Ground EZ975 1123 requesting pushback tug to steer the aircraft to the right.
So now that should change direction, hopefully. Okay, so hopefully when that goes right we'll just stop here in a second, and then we can sort ourselves out from there really. So next thing we're going to do is a flight control check, which we'd usually do from inside the cockpit. However, I'm going to tell him to stop now before we
Manchester Ground EZ975 1123 requesting the end of pushback.
Okay, he stopped, so he should now disconnect. And that's all sorted. So next thing is, so we'll get rid of that now. We don't need any of that business now because Vatsim's all done through the client. So next thing we'll do a quick, I don't know if you can do this. So we'll do our rudder full left, full right, neutral, and we'll do the ailerons and all of this. So full left, full right, neutral, which as you can see they're moving down, and full up, full down, neutral. So we've got good access on our flight controls. Next thing we'll do is set flaps to flaps 1, so I've got a control for that. And here we go. So we're at 20-minute mark on the video. So we've got that selected, and so max auto brake selected just in case we need it on for takeoff. I think we're pretty good to go. We'll see what happens, and I'll request taxi. So that beeping noise is just about the model matching, because I've got installer deliveries, it doesn't like model matches. So Manchester Ground EZ975, we are ready for taxi. So now it's important to write down what he says. I know why it's not done anything, because it's messed around with. We need to go back into the 8. Let me just go
50 degrees.
Manchester ground EGCC-975. We are ready for taxi.
EG975, Manchester ground, taxi holding point Mike 1 via Golf 4 and Juliet.
Taxi to hold point Mike 1 for runway 23 right via Golf 4 and Juliet. EG975. So I'm just going to quickly look at my map. So Golf 4, so it's basically straight on down to Juliet, left and then on to Mike. So we are literally going to be going round here, left, and then on to Mike. That's the plan. The only thing I've noticed, I've not even started the other engine yet, so what we'll do, we'll start the other engine whilst we're taxiing. That does actually happen in procedures sometimes. So what you'll notice though is we will be pushing a bit funny. It won't look right. I'm just going to wait for the other engine to start. And we'll get the landing lights ready. So we will steer around to the left here. So we'll be holding Mark 1, which is this next taxi point. So we need to give the other engine plenty of time to warm up.
EG979, contact tower on 118.625, enjoy flight 7.
118.625, thanks for your service, EG975. So now what we need to do, we're just going to literally, so I'm going to hold position here a second. Just going to hold position, let the engine stabilise for a minute. I'm just holding it on the toe brakes, and we're going to turn the APU off as well. So, he said 118.625. 118.625. Scrolling for a bit. So release the brakes now for a second. Manchester Tower, EG975, holding point Mike 1.
EG975, Manchester Tower. Good evening, via Mike 1, runway 23 right, clear for takeoff, surface wind 220 degrees, 4 knots.
Clear for takeoff 23 right, EG975. So we've been cleared for takeoff straight away. There is another plane incoming, as I've noticed already. We'll basically see what happens from here. So I'm steering with some rudder pedals, if anyone was wondering. I'm still getting used to them. I've only recently bought them. I got rid of all my flight sim stuff, and then they announced that they're bringing out a new flight simulator. So I was like, oh, typical. So we're going to go straight out departure. It's not going to be the most perfect departure in the world, I can tell you that for a fact, but like everything, people are still getting used to. So we're going to increase the throttle now into toga position, which is full throttle. I could go into flex, but toga seems a bit more appropriate. So we'll look at the speeds and things. So we're coming up to V1 at 123. We're just kicking a bit of wind as well. So we come up to V1. Rotates. Positive climb. It's a bit squeaky, my old throttle is. So we're going to bring the gear up. I'm going to bring the throttle back to climb. So now you see the radar will come up, so I'm now going to fly the approach And
very good evening, Easy 18 November Alpha, ILS 23 right, 8 miles.
Easy 975, contact London Control on 133.7 by.
flaps up as well. And I'm going to let my foot off the...
Easy 975, contact London Control on 133.7 by.
133.7, goodbye.
Easy 18 November Alpha, Match Tower, good evening. Runway 23 right, clear to land. Wind 220 degrees, 4 knots.
Clear land, 23 right, Easy 18 November Alpha.
I can't remember that now. Let me just have a quick look, see what I'm contacting. London Control 133.7. 133.7. London Control, good evening. Easy 975, passing altitude 2,700 for 6,000.
Easy 975, London Control, good evening. Turn right heading 020 degrees, climb flight level 240.
020 and, sorry?
Climb flight level 240.
240.
Easy 86 Foxtrot Lima, descend flight level 60.
Top level 60, the 86 Foxtrot Lima.
And Easy 86 Foxtrot Lima, contact Manchester radar 118.575, goodbye.
18575 is the 85, open up, right.
November Foxtrot Romeo 01 Alpha, descend flight level 100.
Down flight level 100, Mike, 01 Alpha.
So now he's giving an instruction, so that overrides our flight plan at the moment. We've got a good climb and we've been cleared up to 24,000 feet. And we're heading to 020.
Easy 862 Hotel, my apologies, you're leaving my airspace, minus Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
122.8.
So you'll hear the London Control is quite busy. You'll hear that a lot. And he'll be talking a lot as well to us.
Easy 24 Alpha, when ready, descend flight level 180.
When ready, flight level 180. Can we expect a straight in or are we going all the way down to Rosen?
Easy 24 Alpha, I'll try and coordinate with Manchester radar, I'll get back to you shortly.
Okay, thanks, 24 Alpha.
So as you'll hear, there's a lot going on with regards to the air traffic control. So at the minute we're flying 020, which I'm sure is what he said. I can't remember exactly. So they always override your flight plan because they have different air traffic needs compared to what we do. Basically to avoid any collisions or anything with other air traffic. So you'll probably find shortly he will actually he'll actually give us some routing directions towards a certain waypoint, and you'll hear that very shortly. So now this is pretty much the bit of the boring. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get out of London Control and we'll probably end up in Scottish Control tonight and just double check and see what's on. So yeah, Scottish Control is also on tonight. So we'll have a look to see what's going on.
Speedbird 1725, London Control, good evening. Willow 3 Bravo arrival, flying flight level 290.
What's going on?
Climb flight level 290 and Willow 3 Bravo arrival, Speedbird 1725.
Foxtrot Radio 003, descend flight level 70.
Descend flight level 70, Neptune 003.
So I don't know what went on there. For some reason I think there was a bit of a glitch in the plane. It just held me at 10,000 feet, which I think might be something to do with everything else that's going on. So we're going to turn the nose lights off because they're up in the carriage, undercarriage. And as we're over 10,000 feet we can now turn the landing lights off as well, as we're not landing. So now we'll just have a quick look around to see how it's all looking out in the skies. Still getting used to all the camera controls and everything. So we're getting there. The clouds are beautiful on this new game. I know I've seen them.
Easy 975, Geo navigation direct arrival.
Navigation and arrival. Easy 975. Arrival. Arrival. So we're going direct arrival, which is on here, and so now we can go into manage mode and back to where we're going.
November Foxtrot Romeo 003, contact Manchester radar 118.575.
Manchester radar 118.575, not Fury 006, bye-bye.
November Foxtrot Romeo 01, Alpha, descend flight level 80.
So now we're going to go down to standard pressure.
Descend flight level 80, 920 Alpha.
In the UK, and I think it's similar all over the world, to be fair. So that basically means every aircraft is at the same flight level, and there's no discrepancies that way.
Speedbird 31, leaving my airspace, Monaco Unicorn 122.8, bye-bye.
122.8, Speedbird 31, good night.
So you'll be hearing a bit about this, so it's going to get a bit boring this video now. So what I plan to do is I plan to do like a part 1 and a part 2. So we'll do a takeoff and then we will do a landing. So you'll hear quite a bit, so what I'll do, I'll wait till we get out of the airspace and we'll see how we get on. I think as well.
Speedbird 1725, a firm report back.
Copy, Lord.
I think as well it's quite important for you guys, people that haven't ever flown a flight simulator before. It's quite a lot to remember with all this. I think the main thing is it's a bit of fun. If something goes wrong, you can literally just disconnect from the server, and there's no harm to it. I've got it wrong numerous times. Like when he was telling me then to route, I didn't really hear what he said. So if you're not sure, just ask him. I just had a guess looking at my flight plan where we're going towards. So hopefully it's not going to take too long. So we're at nearly 20,000 feet. So we're going to speed up to 250 knots because that is the limit in the UK.
Easy 24 Alpha, descend flight level 130. You can expect a straighten approach from goals.
Okay, flight level 130 and then straight in on goals. Thanks, Easy 2 Alpha.
November Foxtrot Romeo 01 Alpha, descend flight level 70.
Flight level 709, Fury 01 Alpha.
So it's all quite busy on London Control, it always is. They look after the whole of London and even Manchester, so basically all the way up to the Scottish border they cover. London Control does, they control all the airspace in and out of the UK. So we'll see how we get on. I'm hoping some of you guys will get a few tips from all this as well. That's the main reason for doing these videos, not really to show off that I know what I'm doing, because it goes wrong quite a lot. I'm not the best person at landing manually, if I'm honest. ILS landings I'm fine with, because you just take over at the last minute and pop it down. So we're getting a bit turbulent, so I'm going to report some wake turbulence as well to air traffic control. London Control, Easy 975, 20,000 feet turbulence.
Easy 975, London Control, roger.
So now what might happen, he might consider sending me onto a different flight level because of the turbulence. He might not, he might leave me on it. It's not disastrous.
November Foxtrot Romeo 01 Alpha, contact Manchester radar 118.575, bye-bye.
They might decide to send us in a
118.575, 920 Alpha, bye-bye.
Anyway, so we'll see what happens. What we'll do. So you said climb flight level 240, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to 240.
Easy 24 Alpha, leave goals heading 260 degrees.
Your goal is heading 260, Easy 2 Alpha.
So you'll notice the frame rate's not very good. That is part of this Sim Connect problem. I usually can run at 40 frames a second-ish at the minute on Ultra.
Easy, correction, speedbird 1725, roger.
I'm only running at HD, they're not 4K, so everyone's struggling a little bit with it.
EG975, leaving my airspace, monitor Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
122.8, is 975, thanks for your service.
London, good evening. This is Shamrock 330 with you in Birmingham for clearance to Dublin, please.
Shamrock 330, I don't cover Birmingham top down. I'll talk to you once you're airborne.
Okay, cheers, thanks.
So, 122.8 is a Unicom, which means there is no other air traffic control in this area. However, when we get over the Scottish, I'm hoping there is someone on Scotland. I don't know what STC is, I can't remember. But we'll see. Anyway, I plan to do a bit of an approach into Edinburgh. So we're flying live time. We're not a million miles away from Edinburgh. It doesn't take long to get up here. 250 knots, probably 20 minutes or so. But nothing's going to happen up here on the flight deck, really. So we will see. So there's nothing. A large cell in front. So someone just sent me a message, because they send private messages. When you're on Unicom, you report open mic. So we're going to start seeing storm cells and things, most possibly. So what we're going to do, we're going to change this so we can look at the weather as well. So we'll look at weather and turbulence. I'm hoping when you engage this, I've not done it for a while. So I might need to click something else, but I'm not too sure. Either way, so I'm just waffling now. So that guy said there's some storm cells in front of us. There might not be, there might be, who knows. But I noticed we're up to like 37 minutes on the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a part 2 for the approach and landing, because nothing really happens in the cruise. Like occasionally, if you're flying across different parts of Europe, you'll hear call-outs and things like that, but it's not the end of the world. And like I said, 122.8 is basically a frequency when there's no other ATC available and you can speak to other pilots in the air to report traffic and sign things. The other guy that reported traffic was actually behind me, but he's on P3D, which some of you know is another flight simulator software, which was very good. However, so we're getting on. We're getting on with the time anyway. I hope the Vatsim info stuff will help you a little bit, and I hope a bit about the setup of the Airbus as well. It's difficult to explain without really putting charts and things in front of you. I find it's quite difficult to. It's took me a long time to work out how everything works, and a lot of it's just having a play about, seeing how you get on. Worst case scenario is you crash, and it's not the end of the world. It happens all the time. I've also done a little bit of training for Vatsim to be air traffic controller, but I've not completed the full course yet, because there's quite a long waiting list for it. But I'm hoping to get on that soon, because it would be quite interesting, not so much for the control, but from the ground perspective and things. It's quite good fun to organise, and like you've heard, they're very professional as well, which is what I like, which is probably my downside, because I'm not a massively professional person. But we've got a lovely sky tonight. Look at that sunshine, even in high-end graphics, not even 4K, it still looks pretty nice compared to what we're used to on Flight Simulator X and P3D for that fact as well. But I must admit, the Flight Simulator out of the box looked amazing. I know there's been quite a few issues. Some people haven't had content. It's like I said, this Sim Connect problem, and a few other issues as well. I think the Airbus the autopilot still isn't quite right personally, but that's what you get with default aircraft, unfortunately. When we get some more aircraft out, so I really enjoyed playing with the Flight Sim Labs A320 when that was on FSX and prepared, and also the PMDG 737 is probably my fave out of the lot. I think it flies the best out of the lot. But anyway, I hope all you guys can like my videos, subscribe, comment, and I hope it's been interesting for you. So we're getting into some nice light cloud now, but I will resume the video back when we are coming into Edinburgh. Thanks for watching, guys. So it'll probably be a part 2, but we'll see how we get on. Thanks.